Hoy, chummers! Just wanted to take a moment and let you know about our Patreon. While we release episodes of Shadowrunnin on Empty every single week, we actually have a backlog of about 4 episodes at any given time, just to give us a little cushion in case we can't record on our schedule for whatever reason. You know, like holidays or bug spirits. If you're interested in getting access to the episodes early, as well as a bunch of other benefits like artwork for the show, news on changes or rollouts, and sneak peeks at other things coming up, 5 new yen a month over on patreon.com/critical_hits gets you full access to all of the bells and whistles. You can even get a shout out for your support at the end of every single episode of Sinless as well. So if you enjoy the podcast and you'd like to support our work as well as get tons of bonus perks, that's the best way to do it. Thanks for your time, and let's get back to the show.
Hey chummers, So Easy Mode here. I've been a GM of various games for the past 25 years. I'll be the host of the podcast, bringing some much needed information about the shadows.
Hey, I'm Austin. I play Kaze in the Sinless game, and I am excited to learn more about the lore.
Hello everybody, I'm Tyler, aka Captain Cozy. I play Zero on the Shadowrun actual play series, Sinless. It's time to get our lore going.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shadowrunnin on Empty, where we fill your brain with knowledge of the shadows. And today's topic, we're going to talk about critters.
Ooh, a pet for the sixth world, mayhaps?
I mean, there's the magical kind and the mundane kind. You still have regular pets, but now you've got magic pets too.
Finally, a magic dog.
You know, I think there actually is a magical kind of dog.
There'd better be.
I mean, you can include hellhounds, right? You want a dog that breathes fire, right?
Isn't that like, aren't they, can you see them? We can get into that later, but okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that, and you'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure, because we definitely saw those ones that were in the junkyard.
I'm mixing mythologies here, because I know in some like belief systems, the only person that sees the hellhound is the person who's gonna die.
No. Yeah.
This is like a golden retriever that breathes fire.
Aww.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hellhound.
Then yes, I will have one. Give me 2. Anyway.
How else are they gonna pull his dwarf sled if he doesn't have 2?
Yes. New
I think
goal.
that we need to
Bobsled team of hellhounds.
Let's go.
No, I think we just need to make Zero a battle sled that's literally just a sled pulled by hellhounds.
Stop.
Ideas for the future.
Oh no.
The battle
My
sled.
entire life has changed in an instant.
You don't have to worry about like going up against an enemy decker because they can't hack a sled.
Oh,
It's low tech, dude.
I can be a Mundy forever.
Can't hack a hellhound either.
You can't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't steal a hellhound.
My hellhounds don't run out of ammo. I mean, unless they run charges. Anyway.
Do they run out of ammo?
Hellhounds don't run out of ammo, no.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Hell yeah. And this is just the first one, and I'm already in it. I want it.
Yeah, this is just
we haven't even
the first
gotten to the first one, Tyler. You brought up hellhounds.
I
We
did
haven't
bring
even
that
gotten
up.
into the episode.
Hey, you know what, listener? You're welcome. Yo, where all my hellhound homies at? You can't see, but I'm throwing up gang signs right now. It's probably inappropriate. Anyway.
They prefer to be called hellhounders. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
Look, there's probably leather jackets involved with this too.
Yeah.
No, everybody knows that the hellhound aficionados all wear collars in solidarity for their pets.
Absolutely. Proudly.
We're getting into a whole kind of different thing there.
Oh, there's magic, all right.
Listen, whether or not Zero's first soda is a hellhound, that's up for debate. Nobody knows.
So
I hate that you're making me you're incepting these things into me. And I'm like, maybe that I would do that. That sounds like a great idea.
Maybe that is how it is.
big thunk. Well, let's actually get into when animals start to make this change, where we see that not only do we have the regular mundane creatures that we're all used to, but as magic begins to creep back into the world, so again, at around the turn of the century, we start to see these new creatures emerging into the world.
One of the things that we also had discussed when we were talking about the history of the Sixth World stuff that fellow player of our game with us, Karma, lied to me about, was that animals were effectively the first people to register the return of magic, right? Before humanity did. Because remember, we went into this whole discussion about how there was like a ferret mage who wasn't actually a mage, but he was like the ferret that had detected magic's return. That's
Yes.
like the first thing that knew that magic was back.
Yes, and I actually have that. It's called the Century Ferret.
The century ferret, yes.
Oh, how could I forget?
Right. Because probably Karma is a big fat phony liar, and I want that documented here on the
Wow,
podcast
I'm so
for all of
glad
time.
we can get some solid libel, slander.
Slander?
It's not
slander.
libel or slander. It's both true. It
shit.
can't be slander when it's a true statement. He lied directly to my face.
So it is the Century Ferret, and
Yes.
the thing about it is, originally it was thought to have been a completely new breed of ferret. But later we find out that it is actually one of the first awakened creatures discovered.
So it's
Cool.
not a new breed so much as it is a normal ferret, but it has become awakened to the return of magic, which is what makes it different.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, a lot of these creatures that do awaken, some of them are actually deviations from regular creatures that we see and have today, and then a lot of the other ones that show up are straight out of myth and legend. Like unicorns become a thing.
Oh, wait. So they didn't exist before, or they do now because there's magic?
Unicorns exist now because there is magic.
Okay. I wasn't sure if this was one of those, like, as soon as magic happened, everyone's imagination like kicked into overdrive and we suddenly just created unicorns. That was where my brain was going.
We didn't just create them. When magic comes back to the world, they start to make a comeback as well.
Okay. Rise of the unicorn and other magical critters
Rise of the unicorn.
coming this fall.
Oh my. Because you have regular animals too. They're just slightly different. Like, for instance, we have armadillos, right?
We do.
But there is an awakened creature called a greater armadillo.
And what makes it so greater?
It has opposable thumbs.
My God. We're doomed.
That's all it takes.
Oh, no.
Imagine an armadillo, but it can open doors.
Sometimes I lay awake in bed at night and I'm trying to fall asleep and I sit up thinking, oh, okay, it was just a dream. Armadillos don't have opposable thumbs. We're still safe.
Imagine humanity no longer being the top of the food chain.
Okay, so besides it being the part of some hit sci-fi original, is it they're bigger? They got a cool hat. They cast spells.
They
what
got
do
a
they do?
cool hat. It's just an
I'm
armadillo.
asking the important questions here. People want to know.
God.
It's an armadillo, but it has a fedora made out of the same material as its
Arma lady.
Oh my god. Neckbeard's an armadillo. Tips fedora an armadillo.
So the greater armadillo is bigger than the normal one. It is.
Oh, okay,
It
so it's
grows
just
to a size of 1.2 meters.
Boo.
I
Ours
don't
is better.
call us Shadowrun. We got you.
Wow.
Oh boy. So it's a bigger one. Okay.
It is a larger creature, yes.
And that counts it as awakened because it's bigger?
It's that and
And the
So
fact
I
you can
guess
shoot fire
you know,
in your eyes.
I feel like a good question is a generalized question here that Tyler's kind of brought us around to.
Sure.
What determines an awakened creature from a normal
I
creature?
definitely was gonna. I was not gonna ask that.
all of the awakened paranormal animals will have some innate magical sense or ability. So, for example, the greater armadillo, while it is larger than its cousin, it is also immune to poison
Oh,
and has an enhanced sense of smell.
okay.
Better smelling and immune to poison.
Good sniffers cannot be poisoned. That's fair.
I will take 3.
You already have 2 hellhounds. Dude, chill.
My menagerie has only just begun.
The menagerie is growing.
Well, that's another thing too. Is you have to think as we get these new creatures and creatures of myth, zoos completely blow up again.
Oh,
You have the
Is it the Halloweeners? Who's blowing up the zoos?
not literally exploding.
Oh,
no!
Sorry.
I mean, they get popularity spikes once more because you have these new animals that have never been seen before or have only been mentioned in myth and legend. And so parazoology actually becomes a thing in the sixth world.
As you're explaining this, I keep thinking of Jurassic World, where they explain that dinosaurs have now become mundane because they've been back around, so people are no longer excited about them. And I'm thinking about the world where I could go to a zoo and see a unicorn, and that would be fucking amazing.
But years in, you're like, I've seen. They have better unicorns in the San Francisco Paranormal Zoo.
Yeah, right. The unicorn's just standing there again. Do something!
You didn't buy the right unicorn feed. That's why they're just standing there.
Yeah, right. Oh, I got the Lucky Charms this time. I should have gotten something else. I feel like unicorns would eat Lucky Charms, right?
Okay,
You know, I
so
don't-
when
I don't
say
know.
a thing is greater because it has a hat.
Listen. Here's my logic. Okay, go with me on this.
Okay.
What do normal horses eat?
Hay.
Or nope, oats and grains.
Oats. Yeah.
Oats and grains.
But
okay,
hay's for horses. The saying
Come on.
says. Okay.
guys, this is my last episode, so I hope that you all had a great time with us here. So if you extrapolate that, oats and grains, cereal is basically a grain. So
Okay.
This is becoming a stretch right here, I have to say.
if Lucky Charms are magically delicious and they incorporate the grains that a horse would otherwise eat normally, I don't see why we can't assume that unicorns would eat Lucky Charms.
Write in.
All right.
Write in or, leave a comment on our Patreon.
What do you guys think unicorns eat?
What do unicorns eat? Why is unicorn?
Unicorns either eat Lucky Charms or the flesh of leprechauns. Those are the only two options. The only two possibilities for what a unicorn would eat.
Oh man,
Wow.
Easy. You have your work cut out for you today, my
I
friend.
And I
really
swear
do.
to God, Easy, if you tell me that leprechauns aren't real in the sixth world, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because what are the unicorns gonna eat?
Who's gonna make my Lucky Charms magically delicious? Tell me.
Who's gonna give us the Lucky Charms to feed the unicorn and or their own flesh off their body? What are we gonna do about the unicorn?
They'll turn to us.
We're next.
All right.
We're basically just tall leprechauns.
That is a hell of a quote. Okay. All right.
Here's some follow-up. Yes, leprechauns do exist. They are
Magically delicious.
No, they're not magically delicious. They're a deviation from the dwarf metahuman type.
Oh my lord, you're telling me I could have made a leprechaun?
Well, it doesn't happen until 2061 when Halley's Comet passes by and we get the thing that happens called the Surge. And don't worry, everybody. We'll get to that in another episode. We'll talk about the year of the comet and all of the weird stuff that happens during that time period.
That's like the second tier goblinization stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
that's when more changes.
Species come out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like you get giants.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Giants out of trolls. You get a couple new kinds of elves. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and like I said, we will get to it. While it does kind of fall under critters, it's meta-humanity and not critters. Also, I have to tell you that the greater unicorns are not carnivores.
No, so they do eat Lucky Charms.
They do.
Well,
that's a relief. They're not coming for us.
mystery solved there, I guess, guys. For one beautiful moment, we lived in a world where unicorns
were carnivorous, flesh-eating monsters.
It was discovered that unicorns have an immunity to pathogens, immunity to poisons, magical resistance, empathy, and they can make themselves run faster.
Oh, okay, cool. Make themselves run faster.
Yeah, faster than your average horse.
I like that that's just like an innate power. They're just like, yeah, they're a little bit quicker. Yeah.
My powers, I can make myself run fast.
Sometimes you need that.
I mean, that's basically the Flash, right? The Flash's powers.
Right?
He's just a dude. He's just a really fast human.
He's a really fast guy.
Like Magic Nitro? You know, they push the Magic Nitro button and they're just off.
Yep. Vin Diesel flips the switch.
Fast and unicorns.
Yep.
Oh my god.
The Fast and the Unicorn. It's a lot like the way adept powers work, where they enhance their abilities.
Oh, okay.
It works that same way.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
For the pod here.
Oh, here we go.
What are your guys' favorite versions of unicorns? Like in media, what is your favorite unicorn?
Like in a movie?
Like in a movie or a TV show?
Okay.
What is your favorite unicorn?
I don't think I know enough about unicorns, to be honest.
You know what? I'm going to go really old school here and say my favorite depiction was in the movie The Last Unicorn.
The Last Unicorn? I knew that I had a feeling that at least one of you was going to say The Last Unicorn. And that is fair. It's a good one. I
can think of my most cherished immediate memory of a unicorn. Spoilers for Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
there's a unicorn that shows up, and is incredible.
You know what? Top 3 unicorns for sure. I would say is Cabin in the Woods unicorn.
Yeah.
That is an amazing unicorn.
That one would eat some leprechauns.
That unicorn eats leprechauns for sure.
For sure.
100%.
Eats them whole.
And if you haven't seen it and don't know what we're talking about, you should definitely go check that out.
You should just watch it anyway. It's a fantastic movie. I know that we just got out of spooky season, but it doesn't matter. It's good year round. Do yourself a favor. Yeah. I would give an honorable mention to any of the unicorns from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
I was thinking about that as well.
Yes, I am a brony. Yes, I am proud of that fact. That show is fantastic. But I think that my favorite unicorn is absolutely the unicorns from Gravity Falls. Because they're just assholes. They're just the worst, and it's like the only negative depiction of a unicorn I've ever seen, and I love it. I love it so much. It is such a good episode. But asshole unicorns from Gravity Falls with a number 1 with a bullet.
Another follow-up to great unicorn movie, I have to throw out Legend from 1985 mostly because Tim Curry as the bad guy. Oh my!
Yeah, the Darkness is one of the best villains of all time.
Clap, clap, clap! So great.
Yeah, and you know how much sparkle, how much glitter is too much is the question that was asked in Legend, and the answer was there's no such thing as too much glitter.
That is
'Cause
correct.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh my god, so much glitter.
That movie is the most sparkly movie I've ever seen in my entire fucking
The most
life.
sparkly fantasy 80s movie that you could possibly think of is definitely Legend.
And Labyrinth exists, and
I-
somehow
yes.
Legend is more sparkly than Labyrinth. That is
Figure-
the amazing part.
Figure that one out.
Oh man.
Think about it.
So that's unicorns.
They're dope.
I have to say though, with awakened critters coming back to the world and everything, the scariest stuff is still in the ocean.
Of course, dude. The ocean is a nightmare. Like, even in our normalized reality, the ocean is a nightmare, dude. I had to, a couple of months ago, me and my wife went to our friend's wedding in Hawaii. I have never had an issue with flying, but when you look out the window of a plane and it's just ocean,
Water
everywhere, as far as the eye can see, I did not like that. I was not a fan of that. That is when I realized I think I might have a phobia of the open sea. I think that might be something that I actually have.
you and a bunch of people, not many
man.
people
Hey, man.
are okay with just open water.
I am a Pacific Islander, and anytime I look at a pool where I can't see the bottom, I'm like, there's a shark in there. There's definitely a shark in there.
I don't care that there's chlorine in this water. There's a shark in there.
And it's not salt water. There's definitely a shark, and it's going to eat me.
What is the what is the conversation from the Clerks animated series? I used to think that Jaws was in my toilet. Sharks are only in salt water. Salt water is in my toilet. Therefore, the shark is in my toilet. Salt water in your toilet.
Logic, just straight
Yeah.
logic right there. So the reason that I say that the waters, and specifically the ocean, again, is still the scariest place, even in the sixth world, is one of the creatures from long, long ago comes back to the world, and that is the megalodon.
Oh, mega shark time.
Yeah, yes. The megalodon is a real paranormal critter that exists in the Shadowrun sixth world oceans.
Yep, never going in the water.
Well, you know what makes it paranormal? Because remember, all paranormal critters have a little bit of magic. Megalodons have innate regeneration.
I mean, I would rather them have innate regeneration than, like, the ability to breathe outside of water, because then that's just a fucking nightmare.
I don't know, a shark that big that regenerates?
Yeah, and if I don't go in the ocean ever, it's not my problem. So, you
That's
know.
fair. That's fair. There are stories of people in the sixth world hunting megalodon sharks, and the way they hunt them is they use depth charges.
It's
Just
like
to, like,
dynamite
just to-
fishing.
Just
Yeah,
to,
it's like dynamite
scare
fishing.
it away.
No,
'Cause,
to
like,
try to
that's- No,
to
to
try to
kill
capture
it.
it. Yeah, to try
But
to
it
kill
has
and capture
regeneration. You're not gonna blow up a megalodon.
Blow it up
It's just gonna
fast
heal.
Look.
Blow it up fast enough.
Yeah, clearly you don't know
Regenerate
how
this.
you don't know how many barrels of TNT they're using.
Yeah, you know, that's valid.
One of the other frightening creatures that I picked out from the sea is a thing called a torpedo shark.
Yup, that's a nightmare. Don't even know what it is.
Think of a shark, right? Normally,
And I
but
do,
it's
frequently.
a little. It's it grows to 5 meters, right? And it has a domed head that resembles a torpedo warhead, and that domed head is all hard bone.
Oh.
So this thing rams boats.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it rams whatever the fuck it wants.
I mean, with the name like Torpedo Shark.
And that is pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. I think that I just found my new Patronus.
The Torpedo Shark.
Dude, like, imagine if your Patronus was a torpedo shark and you summon it against a fucking
Death.
I wanted to call it a Death Eater, but it's not called a Dementor.
Dementor.
Dementor. What the hell? Oh, Death Eaters aren't from that show. Okay.
Death
Yeah,
Eaters.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're also the bad guys, or the Death Eaters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, imagine you just summon it, and then it just literally shoots through a fucking Dementor. And it's just, like, a hole in the middle of it.
That
like,
sounds amazing.
yeah. Torpedo sharks, baby.
It's like a jutsu. Anyway.
I love these things.
Wow.
This is my new favorite magical critter.
2 other water creatures.
Wait, do they have any other magical properties, or are they
What,
just
the torpedo shark?
Yeah, the torpedo shark.
It has the ability to enhance its physical attributes.
So it can also just become a super yoked shark.
Yeah, it basically, what it does is it does, like, from Pokemon, it does Metapods harden and then rams ships.
Gotcha. Okay, sick, and I love it. All right, cool.
2 other water-based creatures that will probably throw you off when you hear the names. There's the saltwater serpent and the freshwater serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you hear that, you think, like, snake, right?
Snake.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
You would be wrong.
Okay.
The freshwater and saltwater are pretty much just Loropleurodons.
Aww. I love me some Leopleurodons.
Yeah, they're Loch Ness.
Yeah.
So, they're dinosaurs?
Yes, kind of. They look like them, but they're given the awakened creature moniker.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
So
Yeah,
other than existing and being a big fuck off sea serpent, what other cool powers does that one have?
They have, again, the ability to enhance their physical attributes to make them stronger or faster.
Oh, okay.
Does it also make them harder and better?
No, it does not.
Kind of a deal
Daft Punk
breaker.
would be disappointed.
Exactly. Daft Punk would be very disappointed. So we've heard about the water-based creatures. Here's a land-based one that I thought was water-based, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called
Okay.
it's called an incubus.
Like the male sex demons.
Except
Uh-huh.
it looks like it's an octopus.
Oh, because it's like an ink.
Are you serious? That joke's in the sixth world?
This is a land-based octopus.
Oh, no.
I gotta be honest, the concept of a land-based octopus is kind of a nightmare.
Well, it gets worse. It gets so much
Okay.
worse. So what makes this little guy really unique, besides being the same size as an average human, it has a nifty little power called desire reflection. So when you see it for the first time,
You want to fuck that octopus.
you don't see the octopus, you see one of your desires reflected.
That's why it's called an incubus? Are
Yes.
you kidding me?
No.
Oh, dude, fuck this thing.
I mean, also the
Oh,
wordplay.
this is a
Wordplay's pretty
nightmare.
good.
Yeah.
The super bad thing about it is, like, it could be hiding in a sewer, an alleyway, in like a metroplex.
Hang on. So based on the description of that power, you can't tell me that you don't want to fuck that octopus.
Well, it's
okay.
reflecting your innate desire. So
Desire.
yeah, you.
So my desires a sandwich. I'll see a
If you want a sandwich, you'll see a sandwich. But if somebody wants to fuck that octopus, that's all I'm trying to say.
You're not wrong. That's what I'll say.
Fantastic. That's the best kind of right.
The worst part is it can't target multiple people. It just does the desired reflection against the initial prey, right? So anybody else that comes around that corner that sees you with that octopus
Oh my.
So,
is
imagine
watching
it's
the
just-
octopus just like wrap you up in its arms and get ready to devour you while you're experiencing something completely different.
I like to imagine that it's like two guys walk out of a bar and they just stop and the octopus is there. And then one of them just starts walking towards it and he's unbuckling his pants. And the guy's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" You gotta have a spotter.
You gotta have a
If you're-
spotter.
If you're in incubus territory, you gotta have a spotter.
Yep.
Oh man, that is
That thing-
one of the weirdest things I've heard of so far.
That thing
You're
is a
welcome.
nightmare and I hate it.
You're welcome.
but it loves you.
It really loves you.
I don't care. I don't. Fuck that guy.
And you will. Anyway.
Boo.
That's what I'm the most worried about, Tyler.
I'm worried that I do want to fuck it.
I don't know what my state of mind is going to be like when I run into an incubus, so who's to say?
Amazing. Amazing.
The worst. The absolute worst. I have to say that I think that is one of the most bizarre, hated creatures that I could run into in the sixth world.
It's like, it's all bad. Like, there's no good thing about that creature. Mm-mm. Like, if you catch it by yourself, you're probably gonna die. I'm assuming that they're carnivorous, so it's gonna eat you.
Oh yeah, they like to eat people.
And you said that it's a human-sized octopus, right?
Yes, yes, it's human-sized.
Pretty big.
That's a nightmare, man. That's nightmares all around. Oh, can we go back to talking about carnivorous unicorns? I feel somewhat like better about those things.
You would rather have a nice
I would rather get
fuzzy
eaten
creature.
I would rather get eaten by a unicorn than by an octopus. Is what I'm trying to say.
Eaten by a unicorn. Well, if you're a leprechaun,
Bold.
Luckily I'm not a leprechaun, so I don't have to worry about that.
So that's one less thing for you to worry about. One more unique creature. You could run into the Nova possum.
Okay. I'm listening.
It's unique, specifically to North America, as the possum usually is. This one is about the size of your average medium-sized dog.
Okay.
That's a big possum.
Yeah, and what makes it, again, a paranormal critter is it has corrosive saliva.
Okay.
So it can melt all of the trash it eats out of your garbage can into a fine sludge before consumption.
Because when I think of trash, there's nothing I like more than turning it into a fine sludge.
Is that why it's called a Nova possum?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the Nova comes into the concept.
I'll tell you, the first time I heard you say Nova possum, I assumed that they had the ability to thermodetonate. And that they do like a fake detonation to make people leave. Like, that's how it plays possum.
Okay, so my thought of a Nova possum was I thought that it was going to be a possum that had the ability to, like, rocket propel itself. Yeah. Imagine the face of a possum as it's engulfed in flames flying at you.
Wow.
In the middle of the night. That's a terrifying concept.
Oh. Hey, totally unrelated, but are there rules about having pets in Shadowrun?
What do you mean?
Like, for instance, just as an example, like, say, for instance, I wanted to have a pet Nova possum. Mm-hmm. Could I do that?
I mean, I guess technically you could.
Follow-up question. If I'm a leprechaun, can I ride on a Nova possum that's also my pet?
No, as a leprechaun, you're not that tiny, so I'm sorry you can't ride the Nova possum.
Is awful again.
You mean to tell me that if you were a leprechaun, you wouldn't want your pet and mount to be a unicorn? What could go wrong?
That all depends on whether everything that we talked about earlier is true or not.
Yeah, and if they fed it.
Well, it is canon. We already know that. It is canon.
Oh, no. Oh, smear campaign against karma and unicorns.
Jeez. So one more fuzzy little critter. People like raccoons, right?
I do.
They're the mischievous little critters that get into things and they steal food. It's all fun. Well, there's an awakened version of a raccoon.
Oh, yes.
It's called a bandit.
Oh, it's called a bandit. It looks like a little bandit because that's the bandit.
I'm waiting for it to become a nightmare before I respond to this.
It steals your soul.
It is a necromantic raccoon. It is the bandit of life essence.
They have a natural, innate understanding of locking mechanisms.
Oh, the thieves.
Using simple tools such as discarded nails or bits of wire, they can often pick simple mechanical locks.
Oh my god.
I'm so happy right now.
I like to imagine like a group of Shadowrunners that are going to like break into a place after hours, and they're like, "How are we gonna get through the door?" And one guy's just like, "Don't worry, I've got it covered." And
I know a guy.
he goes up to like an air vent and takes it off, and then just pulls out his duffel bag and unzips it, and a fucking raccoon just goes in. He'll handle it from here. Also, he requires a 15% cut in crackers.
Only the club crackers, too, not these off-brand crackers.
Yeah, he's not some schmuck. He deserves to be paid like a champion. I just imagine like the Squirrel Squad, but also like the penguins from Madagascar, where they're like doing a whole bunch of like
the infiltration.
Yeah. Smile away, boy, smile away.
Oh.
Okay, that is incredibly hard to top.
One of the most domesticated animals that you see in the Sixth World is, like we said earlier, is the hellhound. Because it's a fantastic guard dog. Who doesn't want a dog that breathes fire?
Mm-hmm.
As a regular, everyday pet, I could see some problems. But as a watchdog or somebody that you have on corporate property that does, patrols or something like that, that a lot of them do have hellhounds.
That's amazing. It's like a guard dog, but just with fire.
Guard dog that breathes fire.
Some would call it a hot dog.
Boo.
Okay,
Boo.
so
Guys,
boo.
is this thing
Also,
on?
so,
Guys?
Also
yep,
boo.
Hot dog?
Also boo. So what makes a hellhound a magical creature?
Other than it breathes fire?
Yeah, man.
I thought the fire breathing was a dead giveaway.
I'm waiting for you to tell me what makes it cool. Can we get to that part, please?
It breathes fire and is also immune to fire.
Oh, okay. Well, that's helpful.
Yeah, all right, I guess.
I thought you were gonna say it's really good at like crossword puzzles or something, like something just super innocuous.
Clearly, it's no bandit.
Clearly, a few things are.
Yeah. Who doesn't want a lock-picking raccoon?
Oh my
Well,
god!
everybody knows that a hellhound won the 2058 National Spelling Bee.
Could you imagine the annual dog show? And you have a hellhound.
Oh my god! I'm just imagining like
An
the
Argentinian purebred hellhound.
like I'm imagining like the circus ball, like the bears, where it's like it's walking on, it's just breathing fire and it's juggling.
I like to imagine that when they go to like do the run through of the obstacle course, when it gets to like the where it has to like jump over the bar, it just lights the bar on fire and runs through it.
Points for creativity.
Fantastic form, as
We're
you can
running
see.
out of bars, but it's so neat.
It never lost its stride. Its gait was majestic as it ran through the flaming bar.
Ran through the burning remains.
Well, he completed the obstacle course in optimal time by incinerating it.
High marks for time. However, he did not technically complete the course, so unfortunately the
gonna be
Argentinian purebred hellhound will have to be disqualified.
Ugh.
Oh man.
Wow. Yeah, like thinking about it, pet shows and everything would just be wild in the Sixth World.
Dude, imagine like any of like the we need like the professional to come in and train our unruly pet, and it's a fucking hellhound. Like,
let's see Caesar Milan handle that one.
yeah, there it is, Caesar Milan thing. I could only think of Jackson Galaxy, and I was like, he's cats. He's not dogs. Caesar Milan.
They come in like flame retardant suits.
You must assert your dominance to your hellhound, otherwise he will never respect you.
So there's one more paranormal creature that I have to mention that is very common throughout the world, and you're going to see them a lot in the sprawls and cities and everything, and that is the devil rat.
Oh no! Oh god!
Devil rats rule.
Metal.
The devil rat is about the size of a chihuahua. And it is completely hairless.
I mean, aren't chihuahuas already kind of like the size of rats in general? Normally.
I mean, I equate them to the same, but that's
But
just me.
it's like an even bigger chihuahua.
It's like a slightly bigger yeah, it's like a fat chihuahua. That's the
it's a
size
fat, hairless chihuahua.
So what makes devil rats so terrible?
Other than the fact that they're hairless, I don't know why, but the concept of like a hairless rat is so disgusting.
Beady red eyes. Beady red eyes as well.
Like
Okay.
I'm imagining like the texture of a Sphinx cat, but it's a fucking
it's a
rat
rat.
instead. Oh my god.
It's got beady red eyes.
It's a rat that just feels like foreskin all over the place. Oh god, it's a nightmare.
So it's immune to pathogens and immune to poison, and it can exert control over regular rats.
No.
Oh, it's a king rat.
It's a rat king. I was gonna joke about the devil rat king, and
but now you don't have to.
Kingdom.
The other bad thing about the devil rats is there's a chance that the one that you encounter could be carrying a strain of the Vitus 3 virus.
Oh no.
Remember that lovely plague from history that
Yeah.
wiped out like a third of humanity?
Yeah. And
There you
how?
go. Devil rats are carriers.
Sick. So they're-
God.
the next plague, the black plague, is just waiting to happen.
This is a nightmare.
I've joked about Zero's fear of devil rats and how he believes they're just everywhere, and they're also like, I forgot what I said in the episode, but it was like assuming they had magical powers that allowed them to communicate or something.
Well,
it's-
you're not totally wrong.
I mean, oh no. The devil rat king requires tribute.
Bring me the normal rats. We will infect them with the plague and take over.
Somehow I liked it better when a rat king was just a bunch of rats that all got their tails stuck together into a giant ball of rat. When
Okay.
this is the alternative that we could have had, apparently. I didn't know. A rat king of devil rats? Oh, God.
It just gets progressively worse.
It's like, what's that one Japanese game where you're rolling a ball and it just gets bigger and bigger? Katamari Damacy.
Katamari.
It's a Katamari of,
Yeah.
and at the center of it is just the rat king. It just the ball stops in front of you and just a hole parts in the middle and you just see the beady red eyes of a rat king.
Oh my god, wait. this is
Inside its
amazing.
giant fortress ball of rats.
When it's
that it
moving,
travels.
it's doing the thing where it's like running its head like... I feel like we've made the Sixth World better and worse with these discussions.
Oh.
They're important discussions to have so we can understand the crazy creatures that populate the Sixth World.
Now, is there a domesticated awakened house cat? Is there...
Let me
Okay.
check.
Also, make a note for greater goldfish.
Greater
Needs to know what it does.
There are no greater
Goldfish
goldfish,
are already
I'm sorry.
great.
It all depends on how you take care of them, really.
Yes.
I would, Tyler, in regards to greater goldfish, I would
Yes.
like to refer you to a manga called Shibuya Goldfish.
Oh?
Are you familiar with Shibuya
No,
Goldfish?
not at all.
So Shibuya Goldfish is a series about a bunch of giant goldfish that just start showing up all over Shibuya, and they eat humans.
Oh no! Everything is awful.
And it's a horror manga, and it's a nightmare.
Oh,
I
so
regret looking
that
this
sounds-
up.
Hell
That sounds
yeah!
Do not like what I just saw.
So there you go. That's a greater goldfish for you, my guy.
I'm upset. I'm upset.
I'll have to look it up later.
It's
going to be
a
disturbing.
nightmare. They're literally just giant goldfish that float through the air. Like they swim through the air, and then they just eat people, and that's the entire concept of the manga. And sometimes they speak English.
No,
because why not?
Bro.
Because they're nightmare
I
creatures.
thought this
so
was
why
gonna be like
not?
a slice of life with some superhero goldfish, but it's all
Not
nightmares.
this time.
Nope. Haha, gotcha.
Haha, gotcha.
So I do have your answer. There is a awakened cat called a tails cat.
Does it have 9 of them?
No, it doesn't have
Does
nine
it have
of them.
2 of them?
Let's just keep guessing.
6? Are there 6?
There's only one tail.
Ah.
Boo! Boo!
The tails cat has the unique ability to change forms.
Oh, that's cool.
It goes from being a normal house cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a tabby cat. It can then shift into another form, like a powerful plains cat, like a cheetah.
Oh. Are all of the forms, does it have to be a cat? Does it, should just shift between cats?
Yes,
Okay.
it just shifts between house cat and, like, plains
And
cat.
big cats.
So,
It
Yeah.
has to go through its catalog, if you will.
boo.
So I was kind of hoping that, like, it's, it's the Tails cat, right? Is that what...
Mm-hmm. Tails cat.
I was kind of hoping that it was, like, a cat that would tell you stories. It's called the Tails cat.
Tails cat.
And so...
Tails as in tails, not tails as in telling tales.
yeah, see, I was hoping that it was a cat that told tales. Now,
I love that.
my question to
You're thinking of a sphinx.
No, because sphinxes only ask riddles in their assholes. I want a cat that's gonna tell me, like, a nice bedtime story. You know, like, you get a nice cup of tea, and you're like, Tails cat, tell me.
Regale me with a cat's tail.
Regale me of the history of your people. And then he would be like, back in the 19th century, the cats ruled the empire. And then you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, tell me
We
of the
will
empire of
rise
cats.
up one day and reclaim what
Wow.
is rightfully ours.
And then it becomes what's the Sandman story about the cats, the Night of the Cats?
Oh, yeah, Night of the Cats.
So now my question for you is, if you had a Tails cat, which is a cat that told you tales, whose voice would the cat tell you tales? Who
Oh,
would
come
you...
on, that's easy.
Okay.
Obviously, the Tails cat tells you tales in the soothing voice of Morgan Freeman.
Dang it!
Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely my number one with a bullet.
See, I think Morgan Freeman would hit top 3 for me, but not my number 1. Not my number 1.
Who's your number one? Who's your number one?
I would want a Stephen Fry cat.
Oh, that's really good too.
I would want a
shoot.
cat that was Stephen Fry that just tells me stories, and that would be
Okay.
the greatest cat of all time. He would obviously have to have a bow tie because it's
Obviously.
Stephen Fry.
Who's the guy who's like the cowboy in?
Sam Elliott.
Is it Sam Elliott? Yes, Sam Elliott.
In The
I
Big
would want-
Lebowski?
I
With the
want
mus-
a
with the
cowboy
mustache?
cat with
Yeah.
a drawl. Tails your tails.
Sioux City sarsaparilla. That's a good sarsaparilla. A Sam Elliott cat would be a very fucking good cat too. That would
Yes.
be awesome.
That would be a quality.
He would
quality
he would
cat
have
right
to be
there.
like slightly mangy, you know, but like
just a little dusty.
but
a
yeah,
bit
just a
dusty.
little dusty. For some reason he's got a mustache and he's a cat. Like, I don't know why. I don't know where
Sure.
it came from.
The whiskers make a mustache.
Yeah, it covers his mouth. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That would be a good
That would be
cat.
amazing.
I would be down
Yeah.
with a
And
Sam
these
Elliott
are
cat.
all canon.
And none
Now-
of this
now
matters
canon.
because this is not what a Tails cat is, but I thought it'd be fun.
But it can be.
But
It could be in our minds.
Oh.
Going on from the awakened critters, we do have what were initially considered critters, but then later on there's debate and yelling back and forth basically of whether they should be considered creatures or people. And that, my friend, brings us to ghouls.
Ghouls are people too. Ghouls rights 2064. I don't remember what year we're in, and I can't be honest. I winged it there.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, as we're all agreed, ghouls are people too. Yes. Continue.
Moving forward.
Moving on. To better understand ghouls, originally they were seen as the mindless creatures that haunt the night and just eat flesh to make sure that they stay alive, all coming from being infected with a specific type of virus, which was later known as the vampiric virus.
Which is different from Vitus, right? Or was it a mutation of
Vitus?
Vitus?
No one knows exactly where the human metahuman vampiric virus comes from.
Okay.
Vitus was the plague
Right.
that was maybe engineered.
Right, because it allegedly came out of the research lab when the initial outbreak happened.
Right.
Okay, but we don't know where the vampiric virus came from. That just showed up, and then we get ghouls.
And it showed up when magic started to come back. So it could have been around beforehand and then just started manifesting when magic makes a comeback into the world.
So maybe like another variation of awakening is you turn into a ghoul instead.
You know what? It could have happened.
Ghoulinization.
Yep.
Ugh,
Ghoulization.
gross.
Ghoulinization.
Gabagoolinization. That's specifically when people from New Jersey turn into ghouls. It's called gabagoolinization.
Oh, God. We're
So
sorry, and you're welcome.
So to understand ghouls a little bit better, we'll go into a little bit more about the human metahuman vampiric virus. It is a virus, not created. Its full virulence and power only in magic-rich environments is when you're seeing the full manifestation. And there's actually 3 different strains of it.
Oh, fun.
The first strain, which is just called HMHVV1. Then there's HMHVV2 and HMHVV1A.
Oh,
Why?
what?
They had a good thing going.
Yeah, I was waiting.
They did.
Expecting it.
So they all 3 of these virus forms create different versions. They don't always create ghouls. The strain that specifically creates the ghoul version is called the Krieger strain.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It should sound pretty familiar, as in maybe that's happened recently in an episode.
Tune in to find out.
The true human metahuman vampiric virus, though, if you're infected with HMHVV1, if you're a human, you will become a vampire.
Oh, just a straight up vampire.
Straight up vampire.
Huh.
You have to feed off essence to stay alive. Unlike ghouls who have to eat flesh, they have to consume so much flesh equal to like 2% of their body weight to stay alive.
Jesus. That's a lot of flesh.
No. Consume 1% of their body weight in raw human flesh each week
Jeez.
to stay alive.
That's your pound of flesh right there.
Yes. Whereas the vampire strain, you have to feed off of essence of creatures to maintain yourself.
So not even
Right,
blood.
I feel like we talked about this in another episode as well. Oh, I think it was when we were talking about the Tyler, what's your favorite band of Central American themed mercenaries called?
The Blood Jaguars? Or Blood... Is it Blood Panthers?
Blood Panthers.
Blood Panthers.
Because I think when we were talking about that, you mentioned the essence thing, because there's like the different variations to essence where like certain creatures, like humans, are the most rich when it comes to essence for feeding. So it's like not viable for vampires to be able to just like sustain themselves off of creatures. I want to say that this was something that we talked about before.
I mean, you said it with such eloquence. I kind of believe you. And it's my boys. So, speaking of, does that mean that all the Blood Panthers have this virus, or it's just blood magic?
Well, if the Blood Panthers are actual vampires,
Yes.
they would have the HMHVV1.
Okay, I guess I assumed.
If they're ghouls and just call themselves, the Blood Panthers, but it specifically said vampires, so I would assume they have the true vampiric strain that causes them to actually be vampires.
Also, I know that we haven't gone a lot into like what ghouls are capable of, but I don't think that you would have your elite team of Spec Ops Commando unit be made up of ghouls. Like they don't seem like they're the best at following orders or, tactical stealth.
That again depends, because when you get infected with that strain and you turn into a ghoul, there's the chance that you still retain your intelligence. Some do, and they're intelligent ghouls, whereas others turn into what people see as typical ghouls. They'll become the feral ghouls, where they just hide out in the sewers and stick to the night and are the monsters underneath the bed type deal.
I see.
But the ones that retain their intelligence can exert their dominance over these other feral ghouls.
The ghoul kings. So what's the determiner for whether or not a ghoul retains its intelligence like that?
It's really luck of the draw.
Okay.
When you get turned.
That's fair.
Yeah. There's nothing to guarantee that you would retain your consciousness and intelligence when you become a ghoul.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
That's the downside.
That's the downside of gabagoolinization.
However, if you become a ghoul, you are completely immune to the Vitus Plague.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Fun
That's
trade-off.
a fair trade-off, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I know that we had talked about with Dunkelzon's will that one of the components of the will was for somebody to develop artificial flesh for ghouls to consume rather than having to eat actual people. Has anybody ever tried to just make a cure for the virus?
I think attempts have been made, but none have been successful.
Okay.
Raw deal.
Very raw deal.
Well, that's how they like their human flesh.
Raw. It's interesting that the human metahuman vampiric virus also creates these other subcategories of creatures from our myth.
Banicula?
If the human is infected with strain 1, they become a vampire. If they're infected with strain 2, they become this thing called a loup-garou.
Oh my god.
Which is like
werewolf?
the Wolfman of legend. Yeah, it's like the Wolfman of legend.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, victims of this disease are covered with a short coat of fur, most often gray or black, and possess sharp teeth and claws.
So are these...
They also suffer from a severely diminished intellect, and the transformation grants the Garou thermographic vision and the adept-like ability to increase their strength once a day.
So this virus and all the strains are like the Halloween virus, you know?
Kind of.
You become a zombie, a vampire, or a werewolf.
So what is the...
Well, the Krieger strain turns you into the ghouls, which could be considered zombie-like.
Right.
Whereas the vampiric virus you have 3 different options if you're a human.
Oh, if you're a
What
human.
does the 1A do?
The 1A version, if you're a human, transforms you into a Nosferatu.
Oh, okay. So that's the worst one.
I don't know, man. These are sounding pretty cool.
In the sixth world, the Nosferatu are sometimes considered to be super vampires.
As they should.
They're the worst, though.
They
Nosferatu
share
are the
almost
worst
all of the
vampires.
traits and powers of standard vampires, with the addition of the physical adept-like ability to increase their body or strength twice a day.
Is that what makes them different
God.
from a normal vampire?
Well, the other thing is they also suffer from an extremely reduced essence loss,
Oh.
which decreases their need to feed as often as regular vampires.
That's pretty dope.
Right?
Does it also happen to make them bald?
I get that they're cooler. I wouldn't want to have to live my life looking like a Nosferatu. That's awful.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's so. That's the worst of the three.
Is that your major holdup?
Yeah, they're. Oh,
fair.
oh my god, dude.
Historically speaking, the Nosferatu are the most, like,
I keep thinking of
grungy of the vampires.
Oh.
Tyler,
Yes,
think
hi.
think of Blood Hunt. Remember in Blood
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
the Nosferatu?
Oh.
Do you want to be that for the rest of your life? A superpowered crackhead? I don't want it, man. I don't
I mean, when you
want
say
it.
it like that, awakened crackhead.
I want to be one of them sexy vampires.
So you want strain 1.
If you had a choice.
I'll take strain 2. I'll be a werewolf. That's cool too.
If you're, well, you lose your intelligence.
Yeah, there's not a lot to lose in the first place. Let's be fair. Hot shot. Okay, so if you get strain 2 for the werewolf, are you a werewolf all the time, or is it like actual lycanthropy?
Let me see.
Good question.
Because I assume that if it causes you to lose your mind, that you're probably just like feral beast man then for the rest of your life.
It changes you into this beast person, and then for a 4 to 6 day period every lunar cycle, the Geru undergoes a secondary transformation that greatly increases the creature's physical abilities and sends it into a killing frenzy.
So you're always kind of a beast man, but then during the full moon week, you go full on werewolf at that point. Okay, yeah. No, see, that sounds awful. All right, give me strain 1. That's it. That's the only viable option.
Well, they also do not suffer from essence loss like the Nosferatu and vampire does.
That's cool, but you said that you just turned into a feral beast man person, so at that point...
Yeah, you kind of just turn into a feral beast man person.
Like, I'm just running around with my pack of unicorns looking for leprechauns to eat at that point. Like, living in the wild, so... No, thank you. Strain 1, please.
all of this virus, the metahuman vampiric virus, affects the other metatypes differently. Like elves that are infected with strain 1 don't become vampires. They become banshees.
Oh, sick. And then they have to move to the tier in Ireland and haunt the moors. And they have their own colony, I assume.
So the elf that's infected with the disease becomes exaggeratedly tall and gaunt. They gain most of the typical abilities of vampires: enhanced senses, immunity to age, poison and disease, mist form, and regeneration, as well as their severe allergy to sunlight, chronic essence loss, and vulnerability to wooden objects.
Oh, just in general?
Yeah, that's what you get when you turn into a vampire.
Oh, no.
So when you become a banshee, you get these as well. The banshee feeds on essence by creating an emotional link to their intended prey by their ability to induce fear. The victim is then pushed to the point of exhaustion, where the banshee proceeds to completely drain them of essence.
Oh.
That's pretty sick.
So they have to scare them into just being, like, vulnerable to eat?
Yeah, you scare you're basically Pennywise.
Oh, that's... Few things I find about elves to be cool. That's pretty freaking sick.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Are there any other cool metahuman variations?
Yeah. A dwarf inflicted with strain 1
Here you go,
becomes
Tyler.
a goblin.
It's so
wait.
appropriate.
Okay, wait.
You become a goblin.
So I could be a leprechaun or a goblin.
Or and a goblin.
And
So the goblin, victims of the disease lose most of their hair and body fat, becoming skeletally emaciated.
okay.
Oh,
They're
no.
sad ghouls.
Goblins gain enhanced smell and taste, chronic essence loss, and rapid regeneration, though they lack the usual immunities of other vampires, subsisting them with an invulnerability to fire, a mild sunlight allergy, and a vulnerability to iron.
Oh.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So even though the term was coined for goblinization when metahumanity emerged, were goblins actually a thing that was part of the original emergence of metahumanity?
No.
Wow. Oh,
I was just thinking about that because I was like, if this is how goblins are made, why was it called goblinization?
Yeah, why was it? Huh. Who was like, yes, this thing that doesn't exist, we'll call it that, because we surely won't see them.
In the history books, we shall refer to it as goblinization. Sir, there are no goblins. It doesn't matter. I'm sure they're out there
They're
somewhere.
real to me, damn it.
They're out there somewhere, and they will adorn my mantle one day. He wants to hunt the goblins.
There is a form for dwarves if they are infected with strain 2.
Okay.
They become a thing called a gnaller.
Gnaller, bruh. Okay.
Yeah.
Straight
you develop a rough, grayish, and rock-like hide, but you don't lose your mind, like the other strain 2 infected, and you are forced to feast on human or metahuman bones.
Ooh.
You know,
Yeah.
I will say, turning into a goblin feels like it has the least amount of upgrades.
Yeah, it's pretty much all downhill for
Yeah.
goblins, right? Like, I don't think there's any. Okay, easy. What's the benefit of being a goblin? There's gotta be one,
There's gotta
right?
be something.
Of that goblin?
Yeah, of becoming a goblin. What is the benefit of being a goblin? Because it's like every other thing. Even when you get a shit deal, for the most part, there's always like one part where you're like, oh, that seems like it's a pretty cool benefit, though.
I will say the one thing I noticed that was a buff of sorts is that they don't get as messed up by the sun. But even then, it's like,
And,
Yes.
and they have hyper regeneration, right? You said that.
Yes.
Okay.
They have rapid
Rapid
not just
regeneration.
regular. Yeah, not just regular, but rapid.
Rapid regeneration. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm assuming that they also probably really like shiny things, right?
They also don't lose their intelligence
that's pretty good.
because it's strain 1. The strain 1 versions of the vampiric virus, you retain your intellect
So that's universal across the board for all.
for all strain 1s, and normally strain 2s you become this mindless monster.
So you don't get as severe of a boost, but you don't have as severe of a bane either.
True.
Gotcha.
There
Okay.
there is a second version for the elves too.
Ooh.
For strain 2. They become a thing called a harvester,
Oh, metal.
and it looks like you become a bat person without the wings. So you just get the claws and the face and the ears, and that's it. And then they're just mindless monsters.
Oh man,
They're carnivorous predators
there's a lot of things that can kill you in Shadowrun.
because they lose their mind, obviously, because of strain 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Everything wants to kill you in Shadowrun, Tyler. That's the one.
It really does.
That's the one takeaway that I've had from this podcast.
This podcast
we
is a
need to go-
cautionary tale.
Do we need to go back to
It
the
really
incubus?
is.
Do we need to talk about the incubus again?
to soften the blow somehow.
The orc infected with strain 1 of the vampiric virus turns into a Wendigo.
Oh
Yeah. Wendigo. And then it stalks the mountains and fights the Incredible Hulk.
In one of the more extreme expressions of this disease, the afflicted is transformed into a troll-sized white-furred humanoid that bears a passing resemblance to a yeti.
Well, that would be interesting, though, because that's actually a variation, because the Wendigos are supposed to be, like, mindless creatures. So if they retain their intelligence and they're Wendigos, that's actually a nightmare.
Right?
Yeah. That's probably the scariest one.
Their strain 2 version is they turn into this thing called a Grendel.
A Grendel. Like the Beowulf mythos?
Kind of.
Probably not as ugly.
Grendel have a stronger, usually matted head, facial, and body hair, which may be called a coat. Their tusks appear more prominent, and they have greatly extended arms.
So it's Grendel cool.
When they move, they do so on all fours rather than on 2 legs.
What is
and that causes them to reach great speeds.
Real quick, if you have it, what is the strain 2 for elves and dwarves? Because I don't think we talked about that.
The strain 2 for elves is the Harvester.
The Harvester?
That bat-like creature.
Yeah.
Oh, the bat-like creature. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
And the dwarf is the Gnawer.
Oh, that was the
one that has
Gnawer.
to
Okay.
eat bones.
Yes. With the rocky hide. Okay. That's my bad then. I missed on that.
So here's the one thing that's gonna throw you for a loop.
Oh, I'm ready.
There's a strain 2 that affects koalas.
Sick.
Oh no, the drop bears.
It is actually called a drop bear.
Oh
Yes.
no. Crikey.
Drop bears are awakened koalas.
Oh no, dude. We
Sweats in opposite direction.
They have jet black fur and elongated and sharp teeth and claws.
Oh no.
They are omnivores.
Oh.
That does sound pretty fantastic.
Drop bears are carriers of the strain 2 virus, but are not considered to be one of the infected.
Okay. Wait.
So they have.
It's why they don't require to eat blood
Flesh.
or flesh of metahumans.
Oh.
They're just gnarly looking.
They just
and
have
can-
it, but they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can technically infect you with it because they have the virus.
Oh, dude, imagine being bitten by a drop bear and then having to have the concern about whether or not you're going to get strain 2 virus or chlamydia. Like, that's the true nightmare.
Truer words have never been spoken.
So, back to Tyler's original question about owning pets in the
Yes!
world. I just want to... Because...
You want to own a drop bear?
For scientific purposes.
imagine having, like, a tactical drop bear. Like I get in a fight with somebody and they like knock away my sword and I'm just like, but you didn't expect this, and then I throw a koala
Yep, because
onto
you're
their
just
face
carrying a drop bear.
yeah,
Pocket drop bear.
I would have like a backpack that I would carry him in, and then I would be like, but what about this? And then I open it, it jumps out onto his face.
This is
and
what
then just
I've
starts to
seen.
eat his face, and I would love it.
I just imagine a secret agent drop bear that's like this bloodthirsty killer.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like imagine Hit Monkey, but it's a drop bear. But it's an evil koala instead.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
How many of these magical critters work in the U.S. government or UConn?
Oh, dude. Fuck the Blood Panthers. Give me a tactical hit squad made entirely of drop bears.
Of drop bears?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to go to Australia for that.
The Australian Air Force literally deploys them from the air. They drop them. From
The 112th Drop Bear Brigade, aerial brigade,
with like little parachutes and goggles.
They're all just Halo jumpers. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I want this so bad now. From what I understand, Australia in the sixth world is a pleasant place with no problems at all. So it seems like that might be a viable option.
Oh.
No. In the sixth world, I will tell you, Australia is the absolute worst place you could possibly be.
Kind of like the normal world.
Whoa.
Well, that's just it.
Bunch of criminals.
Oh,
Take
no.
the normal world, Australia, with all of the creatures that they have, and then add awakened
And then
creatures.
also
on top
Make
of
them
that.
magical. Yeah. Oh.
And we'll get into, in a later podcast, we'll get into specific areas, and we'll talk about Australia at some point, and you'll just realize how just awful it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But back to critters. Remember how we kind of touched that Sasquatches are a thing, and in 2042, the United Nations declared that they are a sentient species.
This is all checking out.
Yeah, the Sasquatch are widely known to have the ability to mimic almost any sound with their versatile vocal cords. So this is one of the reasons that they're given that declaration of sentience, and Sasquatches and ghouls go hand in hand in this argument all the way into clear into the newest edition, into the 2080s pretty much. But the Sasquatches can also be infected with HMHVV.
Hang on, real quick before we. I just since the vocal cords thing, I'm just imagining like a Mumford and Sons style like hipster folk band of all Sasquatches where they just make noises of instruments instead of actually playing instruments. And
they'd probably be great at singing.
Oh, I want this so much now.
I mean, technically, if you must know
And I do.
about these Sasquatches,
I absolutely do.
Slight tangent here. Because of their unique mimicry ability, you see some Sasquatches actually get employed on sound stages and everything as sound technicians and entertainers.
They're like they're like Foley technicians. They
can also do
the
that.
background noises.
Mm-hmm.
It also just reminded me of the song I am a roadie. Like roadie Sasquatches.
Roadie. Oh, dude, a Sasquatch would be the best roadie.
But they're too big. They're too noticeable.
Oh, I mean, until they inevitably get like a crippling cocaine addiction, and then you don't want to have to deal with a Sasquatch going through cocaine withdrawal in the middle of a concert.
Yikes.
I don't.
That just
No,
sounds
I don't
like a
think I
bad
do.
time.
If a Sasquatch is infected with strain 2 virus, he turns into what's called a bender snatch.
Oh.
Wait,
Wow.
is it only strain 2? Is that the only one that they're?
They're strain 1, they're susceptible to it, and if they're infected with it, they become a jabberwock.
Yeah, and then the only way you can kill them is with a weapon that goes snicker snack.
That's not true.
I love how
I
this
wish it was.
virus just leads to all these mythical creatures. Just it's like, yes, these storybook monsters exist because of
Yes, they do.
pathogens.
And HMHVV strain 3 does exist. It's just that's considered the ghoul strain. So that's the Krieger strain.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
So the Krieger strain is what would essentially be strain 3, which is why strain 1A is not strain 3.
Yes.
Cool. Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. Tyler?
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Same
there's
page?
a lot of letters. I trust the process.
All you need to know is that we've been vindicated for why strain 3 is not strain 3.
Oh, yes. The okay. Yep. Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Go home, everybody.
We solved the dilemma.
So ghouls have always been that one of the things in the Sixth World that has been debated about and whether they deserve rights or not, or are they monsters?
Wow.
Because they have to consume flesh to stay alive, pretty much.
I mean,
They tried it in Chicago in the history. Remember, we touched on it briefly. They had their own zone kind of marked out. It's just that, unfortunately, at that same time, Chicago was being infiltrated by bug spirits.
Infiltrated is a good word for it.
Overrun, besieged.
Overrun also.
I think horribly
good.
infested is probably a more accurate way to put it.
Also, a very, very good way to put it as
Hopelessly
well.
besieged.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not the only place that you'll actually see ghouls in the world. They do have their own nation.
Yo?
In Western Africa,
Oh.
Azamando. It's called Azamando.
Uh-huh.
And it is a ghoul nation. It's highly awakened, friendly nation, and is populated with spirits, shapeshifters, other meta variants, and the HMHVV infected.
Okay, this sounds like the most open you can be.
Well, it's the only nation that's accepting of ghouls. It is their own spot.
I like to hope that the reason that the nation was called that was in some way a reference to Ozymandias, because I think that would just be neat.
It would just be a neat thing to do.
Yeah. Well, the concept of Ozymandias is that it's a poem about being forgotten.
Whoa.
So like becoming a ghoul, and your previous
You are
existence
kind of ostracized,
is someone who has
from
been
society.
utterly forgotten from society. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
New headcanon, let's go!
Yeah.
Ha cha 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 cha.
So I do have a little bit about this ghoul nation.
This is where Kaze's eventually going to move to. Continue.
Well, it reports as having the highest literacy rates in the world.
Hey,
Having some 90% of its population able to read,
let's go. Off to
and
a good
60%
start.
of the population having a college degree,
Wow.
And people think that ghouls aren't people.
which is ironic when you consider ghouls are blind and incapable of seeing. They see in the astral.
Yes,
is their
that's
dual
how
nature.
good they are.
They work that much harder.
Yeah, they just work that much harder.
Well, no, they use SimSense technology to allow the blind to see and read.
Oh, that's cool. So they're able
That's
to
pretty
take
dope.
tests and all that still.
Yeah.
I think that after we get done with everything in Sinless, Kaze's going to move there and then become a missionary for the benefit of the ghouls, and just go around door to door and just go, so have you heard the ghoul word?
Oh,
jeez.
no.
There are two megacorps that have a vested interest in this ghoul nation. One of them being Saterkrupp.
Ooh. Schemy schemers.
He has agreements to operate within the ghoul nation.
Does he now?
And that's because, well, it's because there are large quantities of the magical element orichalcum that were found here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then Horizon is the other megacorp that maintains positive relations with the Ghoul Nation, maintaining their Matrix services.
That makes sense.
Also, real quick, when you were doing that ghoul word play and we were talking about the ghoul nation,
Yeah.
I came up with one nation under ghoul, and then I didn't know where to go from there. With liberty and synthetic flesh for all or something. I don't know.
Well, that is one of the questions. How do you maintain an entire population with that specific dietary need, right? So
You wait for the
they
non-ghoul missionaries to come to the nation. You take them to the VIP lounge. I don't know what to tell you.
They get their food via multiple sources. In the past, they purchased the dead, prisoners, and slaves from other countries. The country imports corpses from all of the various nearby wars and has extremely strict policies regarding the handling of, quote, food to prevent Shedum infestations.
Ah, yes. Less dead bodies, please. Thank you.
Because if the dead body has no astral to keep the shit out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Possessed.
Checks out.
So is it they're just sent shipments of people?
In essence, yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, in essence, yeah, because that's the
Ah.
essence they need.
I see what he did.
I love it.
Not only in essence, but in actuality.
Oh,
So what do you think? Do you think ghouls deserve to be classified under the critters like we've been talking about, where they're just mindless entities, or do they deserve their own nation?
Here we go.
I mean, having the highest literacy rate in the world, I don't think that they're mindless critters. So, ghouls are people too. Ghouls rights. Ghouls rise up. 2060.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the last part?
Ghoul supremacy.
Wait, hold on. That's not on the teleprompter. Eat your masters.
Eat the master.
rich.
Eat the rich. Quite literally.
Wow.
Oh no, go on, please.
I was just. Everybody knows how I feel about ghouls. So ghouls are people too. Damn it.
I just thought it was an interesting thing to put in because there's so many different variations based off of the strain that you get infected with. And
sorry, if the vampiric strain is different for every race, does every other race that gets infected with the Krieger strain just become a ghoul? Is like ghoul?
it is the only one that is just ghoul centric.
That is universal. Everybody becomes a ghoul. Okay.
Everyone becomes a ghoul. The strain 3 only produces ghouls.
Interesting. What's the like? Is there like a ratio of like humans versus other metas that become ghouls? Like, is it more prominent for humans to contract strain 3, or is it
No,
pretty
it's
even amongst
pretty
everything?
equal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty equal across the board, and it doesn't matter whether you're an orc, a Sasquatch, a human, an elf, a dwarf. If you get hit with strain 3, you become a ghoul.
I gotta be honest, the concept of a troll ghoul is kind of terrifying.
With a troll ghoul shotgun.
Yikes.
I just like troll ghoul is gonna eat if troll ghoul is hungry.
Ain't nothing you can do to stop it.
There is nothing you're gonna do to stop that guy.
Well, there is a version 1, strain 1 of a troll that contracts the strain 1 virus. It's called a douze nuquois.
That is one I've never heard.
They are grotesque.
Oh.
They are absolutely grotesque. You thought Nosferatus were bad from the original lore? Victims of the disease tend towards extreme expressions of their regenerative abilities, growing elaborately twisting horns, spikes, and a thick plating of dermal bone over much of their body.
Oh my God.
So they look like Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They look like Doomsday.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Don't know if I'm biased here. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I will say to your question, it did feel uncomfortable talking about ghouls during this because I was like, haven't we established they're kind of sentient? So I feel like this is only
That's always been
furthering
the
that.
back and forth
Yeah.
because there's the chance that you don't retain your sentience if you contract strain 3.
Right.
You just become a mindless kind of killing machine driven by instinct to try to keep yourself alive, and unfortunately that instinct is to kill and eat flesh of the metahuman
The
variety.
debate continues, I'd say.
It is up in the air.
But what do you think, Tyler?
I think that ghouls should be able to have as much of a say as we do. If a dragon can run for presidency, why can't a ghoul?
Win presidency.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
Ghoul president.
I'm
Ghoul
just
president
saying.
2068. Let's go.
And yeah, if they
Make
can run,
the-
they can win.
Make the UCOS ghoul again, right, guys?
Holy,
boy.
holy moly.
Who would you give rights to first, Sasquatches or ghouls?
Do
man.
Sasquatches
While
eat people?
while intelligent, Sasquatches can only really mimic sounds.
So yeah, so do Sasquatches like speak? Like, do they have like a language, or are they
they,
more
like,
just like
Dude,
repeaters?
they sound like crows. They just mimic sounds.
Despite their mimicry, the Sasquatch seems to be unable or unwilling to learn or use a spoken language.
Interesting.
Stubborn.
Instead, most of them use some form of sign language.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
if they use sign language, though, like, it shows the intelligence and comprehension for communication.
Well, that's why they were declared sentient species.
Yeah, and Sasquatches only eat flesh by choice, I assume, not by mandatory.
Ghouls needed to survive.
The Sasquatch is not like the ghoul. They are omnivores. If they're infected with the form of the virus, then they'll...
Oh,
But regular Sasquatches are just omnivores, like you and I.
Yeah. I think that for the sake of argument, I would say that Sasquatches probably deserve it before ghouls do, because it doesn't seem like Sasquatches come with any of the downsides.
Yeah.
Or the dietary restrictions.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, like the Sasquatch don't have the possibility that they're just going to turn into a mindless killing machine that only wants to eat flesh.
Exactly.
Unless they become like rabies-infested Sasquatches, which that would be terrifying as well in and of itself. But, yeah, I think that Sasquatches probably deserve, if a Sasquatch can get a SAG card, I think that it deserves to be given humanity.
I was gonna say the whole time.
That's fair.
Anytime you guys were like, "Yeah, they retain intelligence," my brain immediately goes to Professor whatever. So I was like, Professor Sasquatch, Professor Yeti, and I kind of like the image of a Sasquatch with glasses
And a lab
Professor
coat.
Vampire.
Yes.
A Sasquatch with glasses and like the jacket with like the leather circles on his elbows, like the like the old doctorate jacket.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, Sasquatches for sure.
Sasquatches for sure.
Yeah.
All right. that's
Sasquatch
fair.
for life, baby.
Everybody else, if you want to get in on this kind of discussion, you're going to have to join us over on our Discord and let us know what you think.
And what sort of magical creature would you have as a pet? And why is it a bandit?
Why? So that way I can commit larceny.
Hey, you're not committing the larceny. The bandit
That's
is
true.
committing the larceny.
Has a bandit ever been tried for breaking and entering?
You know what? I don't think a bandit has ever been brought in a court of law.
I just want to imagine a raccoon with little handcuffs on having to be let
hear me out. They'll steal your possessions, but most importantly, they'll steal your heart.
Oh, look at that. We're ending on a positive note this evening. The first time for this podcast. Positive note ending. Feel good.
I still want a squad of assassin drop bears. I'll take that
absolutely.
over.
Yeah.
Assassin drop.
Give me the hit squad of drop bears. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about critters and the in-depth look into ghouls. And we'll see you in the next one.
And remember, never go in the ocean.
For any reason.
For any reason.
The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sound, audio, video, and/or any proprietary materials used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Critical Hits to use such names, logos, artwork, photographs, sound, audio, video, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Critical Hits in any official capacity whatsoever.